Hello, Cherie Hansen here. I would like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I put my blogs up, or to my written blog, which has 72,000 followers at the current time, which is my name, CherieHansen.com. Thank you. This one is called When We Return to the Place of Beginning. The unusual run for the horizon to see what I can see took me to Victoria. Why Victoria? First of all, I have had the most disciplined, lockdown, repetitive existence imaginable since 2016, when I traveled to Los Angeles for the Airbnb Open Conference. My monastic, quiet, and focused existence was centered around paying down my debt, which I call my reverse dowry. That goal has been achieved, and now I lift my head to see what lies beyond the island of protection that I have made this home. What next? I heard no answer. I simply didn't know. And like all people who have the gift of obsession, I felt adrift in a rubber life raft with no land in sight and no goal shoreline to ride toward. It was a very frightening experience. And so I tricked myself by saying to myself, "You like gardens, go to Butchart." It worked. I was able to push through a construct of the walls of possibility I had built around me in order to buy tickets and get 2 Airbnb stays in Victoria. That in itself was an achievement. I blocked off days in my own business so that I could be free of myself. The small plane lifted me up and transported me, and I decided to not react to the takeoff and landing. Usually I feel dread. My heart rate increases, and I help the plane in its transition by not daring to breathe. I don't want to drag it down. This time I made the choice to keep my breathing even and allow the knowing that I am protected to wrap around me. I would not be the same self on this journey, I promised. The 6 days in Victoria were a disruption. The whiteboard was white clean. I knew that I would get lost because my sense of direction is hazy at the very best. The 15 kilometers I walked every day were good for me. As I circled the blocks and realized that the particular place I was attempting to find had somehow slid into another dimension, I paid attention to how strong my legs were. I was surprised at my stamina and ability to recover from each day's trek. There arose in me such a feeling of no self that it kept me company. I was observer. I was one who did not demand anything. A place would manifest its presence with a sign over a door, and I would go in. Every day I sat in Murchie's drinking tea and watching people. Frequently I felt like a cultural anthropologist making observations. Who are these people? How do they live? How do they relate to one another? What is the particular tribe enacting as a social ritual at that table? I saw groups following unspoken guidelines for behavior. A couple sat with a girl constantly stroking her boyfriend. She leaned into him and on him and demanding that he not abandon her. I saw older couples married for eons who automatically behaved as a team. They were a unit. He got the tray, he picked out the table. Or in another case, she got the tray, she picked out the table. Even one couple where she moved from table to table to table until she found the perfect one, and he simply trailed along behind her with the tray. He knew what would happen. All of the small decisions defining the reality that people create were observable. The rituals all have results. What I found with the observing of myself is that I need to begin again. I need to find methods of growing more gently and with more support. I picked up the book, A Tribe Called Bliss by Lori Harder, and I read it every day on my hiatus. Other women who are observing their lives without looking into the old washing machine swirling around and around of the same old stories, they could help me. Other women who were focused on becoming multidimensional and breaking away from the scripted lives that they had lived in the past would help me. When I returned to Kelowna, I unpacked. I loaded in the laundry and let the soiled clothing of my trip spin themselves to freshness. I swept the 1,000 seeds from the maple tree off of my deck, and I mowed the ankle-deep lawn. As I went about these actions, I observed that this repetition is necessary, and it creates order. But I also understood that I need to make more room for bigger goals, for bigger dreams. I fell asleep realizing that the disruption was absolutely necessary. I had to see who I was, removed from the reality I had created from my repetitive rituals these last 3 years. There needs to be a starting line drawn in life. I begin. Thank you.